The story of Smile Dog, also known as Smile.jpg, has whispered its way through the darkest corners of the internet, leaving a trail of fear and despair in its wake. Allow me to guide you through the chilling events that unfold when curiosity turns into horror. In 2005, Mary E. was a reclusive writer living in the suburbs of Chicago. Known for her fascination with urban legends and the paranormal, Mary often found herself lost in the labyrinthine depths of the internet, seeking out stories that defied explanation. One fateful night, during one of her late-night internet deep dives, she stumbled upon a peculiar email with the subject line, "Smile." Attached was an image file named Smile.jpg. Intrigued, Mary clicked on the attachment. The image that appeared on her screen was grotesque, a dog with human-like teeth, grinning ear to ear. Its eyes were dark, hollow pits that seemed to pierce through the screen and into her soul. The background was a swirl of disturbing red hues, adding to the eerie atmosphere. At first, Mary felt a chill run down her spine, but she quickly brushed it off as a clever hoax. Little did she know, this was just the beginning. Before we delve more into this spine-chilling tale of a fellow internet demon, don't forget to subscribe for more spine-chilling stories. Over the following days, Mary couldn't shake the image from her mind. It haunted her dreams, and she often woke up in a cold sweat. The smile of the dog burned into her memory. She tried to ignore it, but the image seemed to be everywhere she looked, appearing in her peripheral vision, on blank walls, and even in the faces of strangers. The grotesque grin and those hollow eyes became an omnipresent shadow in her life. Desperate for answers, Mary began researching Smile.jpg. She found numerous accounts of people who had encountered the image, each story more terrifying than the last. They all spoke of the same chilling experience. Once you see the image, it consumes you. The only way to escape its grip is to share it with someone else. Forums and obscure websites detailed the psychological torment inflicted by the image, with some users claiming to have seen the dog in their waking moments, a persistent, malevolent presence. Mary's obsession with the image grew, and she became increasingly paranoid and isolated. Her friends and family noticed the change, but she refused to speak of what was haunting her. The smile of the dog was relentless, driving her to the brink of madness. She started receiving strange emails, all with the same subject line, "Smile," and each containing the cursed image. It was as if the dog was taunting her, daring her to spread its curse. The frequency of these emails increased, and Mary's sanity began to unravel under the constant barrage of the horrific image. The true horror began when the dog started to appear in her dreams. In these nightmares, Mary found herself in a dark, endless hallway. At the far end, she could see the dog, its grin even wider and more malevolent than in the photo. As she walked closer, the air grew thick with a sense of dread. The dog's eyes followed her every move, and its grin seemed to whisper secrets that she couldn't understand. One night, as she approached the dog in her dream, a deep demonic voice echoed through the hallway, commanding her to share the picture with more people. The voice was chilling, its words laced with an otherworldly power that left her paralyzed with fear. "Spread the image," it commanded. "Share the smile and you will be free." Mary woke up screaming, the voice still ringing in her ears. She was drenched in sweat, her heart pounding like a drum. The dreams became more frequent and more intense, the voice more insistent. It promised her relief from the torment if only she would share the cursed image. But Mary couldn't bring herself to do it, knowing the horror that awaited anyone who saw it. One night, in a fit of desperation, Mary confided in her friend, Jonathan. She showed him the image, hoping that by sharing it she could free herself from its grasp. Jonathan, initially skeptical, laughed it off as a joke. But as the days passed, he too began to experience the same haunting visions. The image of the smiling dog invaded his life, and he found himself trapped in the same nightmare. Jonathan's initial disbelief turned into fear as he began to see the dog in every reflection, its sinister grin mocking his helplessness. Realizing the gravity of what she had done, Mary decided to take drastic measures. She destroyed her computer, hoping that without the digital link, the curse would be broken. But it was too late. The image had already imprinted itself in her mind, and there was no escaping it. Even without the physical image, the memory of those hollow eyes and that sinister smile haunted her every waking moment. Mary turned to ancient rituals and exorcisms in a desperate attempt to rid herself of the curse. But nothing worked. As the days turned into weeks, the malevolent presence grew stronger. The dog began to appear not just in their dreams, but in the shadows of their homes. It was as if the boundary between the digital and physical worlds was slowly eroding. Mary and Jonathan both started experiencing the same hallucinations, dark figures lurking in corners, whispers of the demonic voice echoing through empty rooms, and always that grinning dog. They attempted to seek help from paranormal experts and psychologists, but no one believed their story. The more they talked about the smiling dog, the more isolated they became. Friends and family began to distance themselves, thinking Mary and Jonathan had lost their minds. The isolation only deepened their paranoia and fear. One particularly harrowing night, Jonathan woke up to find himself standing at the foot of his bed, staring into a mirror. Reflected back at him was not his own face, but the grotesque grin of the Smile dog. Terrified, he smashed the mirror, but the image remained seared into his mind. That night, the dog spoke to him directly, its voice a twisted mockery of human speech. It promised him freedom from the torment if he would spread the image to 10 more people. Desperate and broken, Jonathan considered the offer, but his conscience wouldn't allow him to condemn others to the same fate. As the months went by, Mary and Jonathan grew increasingly isolated and tormented by the dog's smile. The once vivid dreams turned into waking nightmares, and they both knew that there was only one way out, to spread the curse to others. But they couldn't bring themselves to do it, not wanting to inflict the same horror on anyone else. Their lives became a series of sleepless nights and frenzied paranoia. Every shadow and whisper a potential harbinger of the cursed dog. In a last-ditch effort, they decided to confront the curse head-on. Armed with whatever knowledge they had gleaned from countless hours of research and consultations with occult experts, they prepared for a ritual to banish the entity once and for all. On a moonless night, they gathered in Mary's basement, surrounded by protective symbols and ancient incantations. As they began the ritual, the atmosphere grew oppressive, and the temperature plummeted. The shadows in the room seemed to come alive, swirling around them like a dark, malevolent fog. The demonic voice of the Smile dog echoed around them, mocking their feeble attempts to rid themselves of its presence. Despite their best efforts, the ritual only seemed to anger the entity. The basement lights flickered and went out, plunging them into darkness. In the pitch black, they could hear the dog's growl, a deep, rumbling sound that seemed to come from all directions. Panic set in, and they fumbled for the flashlight, only to see the grinning dog standing at the edge of the circle of light, its eyes gleaming with malice. Despair washed over them as they realized that the curse was far beyond their control. The last thing they heard was the dog's demonic voice, promising eternal torment. And then, there was nothing but darkness. In the end, Mary and Jonathan vanished without a trace. Their disappearance remains a mystery, with only the remnants of their frantic research and desperate emails left behind. The image of Smile.jpg continues to circulate the internet, waiting for its next victim, ready to drag another soul into its nightmarish grip. The authorities found their abandoned homes, filled with cryptic notes and walls covered in frenzied drawings of the dog, but no clues to their whereabouts. So, dear viewers, consider this a warning. Beware of strange emails and cursed images, for curiosity can lead you down a path from which there is no return. And if you ever come across a file named Smile.jpg, remember the fate of Mary and Jonathan. Resist the urge to look, for once you see the smiling dog, it will haunt you forever. The internet is a vast and mysterious place, and some corners are best left unexplored. Sleep well if you can, and don't forget to subscribe to CreepyCreppe for more spine-chilling tales. Until next time, dear viewers, keep your curiosity in check, and remember, the internet never forgets.